You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wepa, what up, mi gente? It's your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today, kiddos, what? We got a modern-day living legend. At least to me, he is. He's been kicking ass for a long time in the business, doing some stuff. I mean, he is an author. He is a graphic novelist, a self-publisher. He's been working with the big boys, little boys, all types of kiddos up in the industry, just smashing it from left to right with Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, IDW, creator. Oh, and I mean, homie is a boss. Let me introduce the one, the only, Justin Gray. What up, kiddo? How you doing?
I'm great. I need to carry, you need to hang out with me so I can just walk in rooms like that. That'd be great.
Man, let me tell you, every comic creator I've hung out with, I have heard that at least once. Like, I need you to be my hype man, be my favorite Flav to my Chuck D, they tell me.
It's like fight night up in here.
And we ain't fine over here. We are loving what you're doing, man, because you've been a beast in the industry. So it's an upfront thank you for entertaining me and all of us in your career thus far. And I can't wait to see what we have coming, especially with this awesome project that's right now on Kickstarter, Bleeding Pulp. I mean, this is issue 2. You did issue 1. I mean, dude, you've created 20 Kickstarters. 6 of them were projects we loved. Damn, look at you. And that last issue was one of them. And this one currently.
Yeah, this one just went to the project we love today. Yeah.
I mean, check you out. Yo, you are murdering the scene. So we're going to get into all of that, Justin. But before we talk about the adventures you've had in that backyard of yours, talk about your origin story. Where you from? Where you OG from? Where you grew up?
My father's in the Air Force, so I grew up all over the place. I lived between Colorado, Texas, and New York. I ended up in New York when I was 9, and and I left again and went back to Colorado, went to Seattle, worked in New Mexico, Alaska, just kind of I just kind of moved around a lot for quite a few years, which was a lot of fun. I kind of miss it. I moved 6 times in 1 year. When you don't have a lot of stuff. Yeah, like when you don't have a lot of stuff and you can just pick up and go somewhere. And I worked in restaurants, so I could just roll into a town, find a restaurant, get a job.
The good old days. Now they want to have your blood tests and eye scans before they even hire you or talk to you. They have, what is it, 4 interviews nowadays? 5? Stop wasting my time. Is it yes or no? Damn it.
I'm pretty sure I can grill no matter how many times you want me to come in and meet with someone else.
Are my hands burned? On my hands. Let me stop. All right. So was it easy for you then to find fandom growing up? Because you're moving around so much. Did you leech on to fandom as a young kid because of moving around so much?
Just I found it because I was isolated. I've talked about this before. I was a latchkey kid, and father wasn't really around that much. He was working, and the parents were always busy and stuff was going on. So I ended up like comics were like an escape for me.
You and me both. Yeah. And that was Paul. He saw the covers for Bleeding Pulp and he goes, "They're amazing" on Instagram.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I was like an introverted, shy kid and I found comics at a young age.
Cool. And was it mama, daddy? Was it friends? Did you happen to find it on a spinner rack at these magical 7-Elevens I hear of?
I shoplifted some comics at some point in my juvenile delinquency.
Hey, I mean, I've been guilty. I remember exactly what I took too. My first stolen comic book ever was G.I. Joe Digest, Volume 1.
I stole a Stormtrooper action figure and got the shit beat out of me.
Oh, what?
Because I got caught. And then I went home and it was like, it's old school. So it's belts.
Oh, yeah.
It's leather belts. It's not like a stern talking to.
Oh, yeah. It's not time out. Let me take away your video games. No, man.
It was corporal punishment. That's how we learned not to do stupid stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes I think we need this nowadays. Get some kids straight.
Some of them.
Disrespecting little boogers.
Yeah. That's a whole other podcast, I think.
So, what did you latch on to when you were discovering comics?
I latched on to Spider-Man and X-Men pretty much. I mean, those 2 things covered like a lot of ground. I always related to Peter Parker. Things didn't always work out the way he wanted them to work out, and he was kind of disrespected kid, just trying to, get ahead. And then, as far as like feeling like an outsider, I think the X-Men really gave me a sense of family and an idea of like, a group of people could all be very different from each other, yet all be the same and, be good to each other. And yeah, that's where it started for me, and obviously coming up, I was thinking I want to be the next person to do this and that. And it didn't take long for me to realize I wanted to be doing my own thing. And,
really? Okay. So let's talk about that then. I mean, being that you said you were introvert, moving around, did you ever get to form a tribe or was the, geekdom still a solo mission?
It's weird. It's really hard for me to explain. I don't always seem to fit into the same kinds of groups. Like most of my friends, I have industry friends and creative friends, but a lot of the times I don't see them except at shows and conventions and stuff. So like everyone else is kind of
the con family.
Yeah, it is. It's like that. When you don't see them for like 6 months or a year, and then you just pick right back up when you meet up again. I think that's just kind of how my brain operates.
No, I love those relationships, maybe because that's also how I kind of deal with other things too. I'll pick right back up as if we hung out yesterday, but it could have been last year.
Well, I remember that was one thing, Darwin Cook used to go back to Canada and take his cell phone and throw it in a drawer, close the drawer, and he didn't look at it again until he had to go do something. So I was like,
damn.
A lot of us are like that, where it was just like, don't take it personal if I don't talk to you for this period of time, because as soon as you get back together, it's, like you said, you just pick right back up where you left off.
And plus, you guys are working. You guys got to create the next great big projects and IPs and all this stuff. So, you know what I mean? You're busy.
On a creative journey. Yeah.
Man, your journey is crazy, though. I mean, you've been doing some crazy stuff. So let's start stepping. Let's start walking into Mr. Gray's feet here when you started diving in and when you realized really the moment you said, shit, this is for me. I want this.
Very early on, I made a quick determination that my drawing skills were not going to ever match what I saw in my head.
How soon was that?
I don't know, like 14, I think. Okay. I was like, yeah, whatever. The trip from here to here is not, everything's not coming through.
It's not as fluid as I'd like.
Right. I mean, you asked me to draw a cat, I could draw it and you'll be like, okay, that's a cat. It may not be a good cat, but it's a cat. But as far as like storytelling and, there's just no way.
Okay,
so I realized I wanted to start writing.
Wonderful. And what type of steps did you take, or were you kind of trying to emulate the heroes that you grew up reading at first?
Some of that. I think when I first started really considering writing, I was like deeply entrenched in heavy metal and Savage Sword of Conan.
Oh my God! I just put them away. I just picked up three new ones. The Savage old schools. The earliest one being number 67.
Yeah, is it the big magazine ones?
Yes, of course. Yeah, only ones I want. Only ones I want in my collection. I don't want no phonies.
Most of those are uncensored too, which is great.
That's what I'm saying. This is what mommy was putting me onto as a young child. She didn't know. So you saw barbarians on the cover. Oh, okay, you might like this. Not knowing inside there was, boobies galore.
That's awesome. That's awesome that your mom got you into it. That's great.
Yeah, she didn't mind. She saw I was just a good kid, like you, an introvert, especially in my earlier years. I didn't have a click until maybe I was 13, 14. I really started being not afraid to share my fandom. I was like, fuck it, yo, I got this. And then all of a sudden, I got this. Oh, I got that. Yo, I got these Joes. And then next thing you know, it just turned into a fandom church, if you will. Hallelujah. Sure. We found each other.
No, that's great.
I dig it. All right. So, okay. So here you are taking the steps. So kind of what was the first serious step you took?
It wasn't until I wanted to do comics and I was really into comics. And then like halfway through high school, all of a sudden girls started to realize I existed. So I kind of isolated my comic thing, and then it
was just Justin. Yo, what's up, baby? What you need? And hide in the comment behind him.
Yeah, it's like put those over there, and I'm still reading them. And I'm still like methodically categorizing them and making sure they're always in order. Being OCD about that, and
you and me both, kid. I just did my whole shit like 2 weeks ago. Everything is, and There's no way you cannot find something.
That's the worst thing too, when you can't find it. Then you're like,
oh, no, I get a heart attack. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm meticulous.
Mm.
If something's out of place, who touched it?
Right.
Who? I get mad, yo. Do not play with my order.
So I got back into it more seriously when Robinson and Harris were doing Starman. That kind of brought me back on board. I mean, I'd done some stuff, and I was living in Colorado. I drove to Denver, and Neil Gaiman was doing a signing, so I was at that. And the Extreme team was there. All those guys there. Eric Stevenson, when he was a young fella. And I don't know. I just kind of I went in and out of it. But as far as writing, like I went through a heavy stage of angsty 20-something Bukowski beatniks. I wanted to do poetry. I was living in Seattle during the grunge thing, and I was like really on board with that whole thing. And then I slowly started trying to get comics together, and I immediately run into the same problem everyone runs into, which is trying to find people to work with if you can't draw. And then you have no money, and then you figure out how to make that make that work. And but when I started, I was like, I would not recommend doing half of the stuff I did, just because I think it really wouldn't work right now. But like I got
tactics, folks.
It is like when I was in Seattle, they were going to do Emerald City Con, and Jim Shooter was going to come out. Jim Shooter being a big basketball fan, and at that time Seattle had the Supersonics, which they don't anymore, sadly. And you could get tickets, pretty easily. So I was like, what if I get tickets and offer tickets to Jim Shooter and try and pitch him at a Seattle Supersonics game?
You didn't.
I tried. I mean, he didn't take me up on it. I don't blame him. Like, can you imagine what a nightmare that would be for most people? Like, if you get stuck at a basketball game with someone who's bonkers.
That's in your ears. And about my book, I'm trying to watch the effing game.
Ended up being at like the Marriott bar at 7:00 at night. But, so then I would do stuff like that, and I realized at a certain point, if I was gonna try and get into comics or any kind of publishing, I was gonna have to move east.
Okay.
So I drove from Colorado. I was from Seattle to Colorado, and then Colorado all the way back to. I went to Boston first because I had never lived in Boston.
You drove that? You drove cross country, essentially.
Oh, like 3 times I've driven across. Probably more. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Shit, I died going from up north to down south.
It's funny too. It's like I had never gotten in any trouble, like moving violations, speeding tickets, or anything. As soon as I left New York, it was like all the rules were different. Like in New York, they don't pull you over unless you're like shooting out the window or whatever.
Yeah. Well, or you look like me, because let me tell you, I was getting stopped for no damn reason. I swear to God, and like, how come my car go from 0 to 80 in 1 block in the Bronx? Impossible, officer. You were speeding. It's impossible. My car cannot go 0 to 80. And and everybody was like, just shut up, Al, and just eat the ticket. End of the month, quota time. They're not gonna listen.
Right.
I mean, some old lady was about to ask him a question, and a homie was like, went to his side piece. It was like, step back, lady. I'm like, yo, she's an old lady. He's like, shut up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a horrible reality that still doesn't seem to be getting any better.
No, it doesn't. And you're so right about the laws, though, because when we went from New York to Connecticut, there's some changing lane laws there that we were unaware of. And my wife kind of cut off a sheriff inadvertently.
Right.
He says, "You look, I'm not going to give you a ticket for this, but I will give you a ticket for that." Okay, I'll take it. Cheaper.
It's funny because like you think, everyone has these kinds of experiences. I mean, even I was in Montana, and I got look ma strangers, like this, looking at me like,
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm a straight up Brooklyn raised kid, dude. And then northeast and Mass, Rhode Island, and now I'm in Orlando. The sixth borough of New York right now, the way it seems, because everybody's from up north.
Yeah,
but it's wild here. I'll tell you that it's wilder here than I expected it to be.
Did you go?
And I've seen things. What happened?
Did you just go to COVID Con?
Oh, apparently I did, and I had that too. Thank you to Ethan, the creator, because I think he was the one that when he oh, nice to meet you, he gave me a hug. Oh shit, thank you for sharing. I was fucked up last week, Justin. I
heard a lot of people got it.
I'm in Florida, 90-degree weather outside, and I'm freezing. You understand me? I am wearing a hoodie, and 90-degree weather outside. For a moment, I was like, "Yo, I need to get air. I can't." I was standing in front of my porch. Please, I can't.
Yeah.
But and within a week, I felt great. That all I really got was cold and hungry.
Well, that's good.
I was starving, bro. I ate half a tray of lasagna myself. Call me Garfield. And my wife makes it so good, I can't help it. Come on now.
That's one of my favorite things to make for sure.
Well, shit, Justin and I are gonna have to hang out one day, folks. It's gonna be lasagna, some beer, and comic books. All right.
Yep. And I want to do Orlando Con again. I want to do MegaCon.
Yeah, you have to. It is. Listen, not for nothing. It was a great show.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. A lot of great creators. Of everyone. I mean, every creator I spoke to, Justin, spoke very highly of the show. Just saying how enthusiastic everyone was. They were making their money back by day 2.
No, that's great.
So that means Saturday, Sunday, straight profit.
Yep.
I mean, great things to hear. So please do, because I would have loved to have met you and share it in the vid.
Yeah. But no, I don't want to get that.
No, you don't want to get it. Even though, like my wife said, well, you're lucky because everybody gets it different. I said, yeah, thank God. I think my shots may have helped. Honestly speaking, with that. So,
sure.
So here you are. You're taking creative steps, right?
Yep.
To get into the business. Now you say you're trying to build a team, because I was an artist early on. You're doing things now.
I'm just trying to get noticed. I'm just trying to get someone's attention, and I'm giving sample stuff, which is dumb because you can't really give people samples because number one, they get lost. They have so much stuff to carry around. And
it's dangerous. You're giving out original ideas, kiddo.
Sometimes, yeah. And I don't begrudge them, but you can't just be handing stuff to people anyway. Like I handed something to a creator one time, and he happened to be ahead of me when we walked outside of the con. I didn't realize until I watched him throw my thing in the garbage.
What?
No, it's fine. It was actually a very good.
Oh, scumbag though. Nah, bro. You lucky I wasn't.
What's he gonna do? Like,
if I was one of your boys there, though, I'd be right back, Justin. I'll take it out the garbage, sir. You dropped something. Yeah. I'm one of those. Like, wait a minute, you ain't gonna do that.
And cockroaches on it.
Do that shit in your house. Don't do it there.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's watching, and I think that's that could hurt a potential creator's feelings. You never know. I mean, you're a rough brother. I mean, you
gotta like get that stuff under your. You gotta build that stuff up fast because it's a whole lot of rejection all the time. It's not like you're the wonderkin. They walk in and like, oh my God, where have you been? You're now you're now writing everything for everyone at the highest level. It doesn't.
I don't even know how someone could do that.
Right.
Either. I mean that you're tearing your mind apart, and then how about yourself and your own mental health and your own projects? Because again, when you start working for the man and they own everything you do, I don't think that's a very good feeling. I mean, it's nice to get noticed, but it's not a good feeling, right? You're like, damn.
Yeah, and you kind of.
Who cares about it?
That stuff should be, they should be teaching that. They should have been teaching it right away. You just go in, you're starry-eyed. I mean, I learned real quick that my perception of working in comics and the reality of working in comics, there was a huge gap.
Oh, so was it a complete 360 when you finally got in and you saw the other side?
Well, it was more like, I had romanticized the whole thing. Stan sold us this dream, the bullpen and all these brilliant people working all the time. And it's just a nonstop party, but it's a job, it's business like anything else, and you have to realize that. And there's office politics and there's hierarchies and there's personalities involved. So,
yeah,
I mean, I was just kind of naive, but quickly was like, oh, this is not exactly what I thought it was. It's not that it's not fun. It's not that I didn't enjoy myself, but I can see why there were a lot of people during the course of when I was coming up that were like crashing against the rocks and self-destructing and being disappointed in things.
So, what was those first opportunities like when you finally got in?
It was again things I don't recommend people doing. Like I at first, the internet. although it's since become a cesspool of hatred and division. There was a time when it was like a gateway to people you would never be able to talk to on a casual basis. And what had happened is I started talking to comic creators online, and I started talking to Joe Quesada, and I started, talking to other artists. And
did you see today? Excuse me on that, but Joe Q, he's saying goodbye to Marvel as of today.
No?
Yeah, he shared this on Twitter, a whole beautiful letter saying thanks to everyone. But yeah, thank you, Joe Q, for what you've done.
Yeah, Joe was there for a long time. Did a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Several decades, and he has something coming up, and some indie, creator-owned projects, I suppose he kind of teased. So, good for him.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. So that's a good position to be in.
Hell yeah, brother. I mean, can I say the same about you? Because you're murdering it. I mean, you've been in the business yourself for a minute.
Yeah, but he was working corporate Disney, so I'm not getting those corporate checks. I'm not getting that.
Not yet. Don't you worry. Gray Incorporated will be sending you those dollars too, making it rain.
Yeah. There's, I'd like to, I'm more like legacy for my daughter, like trying to leave stuff for her to like, to do whatever happens.
And you're a girl daddy too. Well, salute. So am I. My baby just graduated college.
Wow! Congratulations.
Yeah, the first one of the family. She's murdering it in graphic design. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
mine's just about to wrap up year 1 of high school, so we'll see.
Ooh.
It's a transitory period. It's been very interesting.
Oh, have you had the moment yet where a boy comes to the house asking for her?
No.
Okay, that happened to me in Massachusetts, and I scared the living bejesus out of the poor kid. So.
Being male, that doesn't stop us.
Oh yeah, hey, listen, I'm just being a protective daddy because he comes over on Father's Day trying to talk about if she wants to hang out. I'm like, bro, where's your dad?
That's a lot of awareness. Read the room,
right? You need chill with your dad today, not my daughter. All right, get out of here.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, right. Listen, but I gotta do what I gotta do. You can't just come ring my bell talking about where's so and so. First of all, hello, who are you?
Right.
Very rude of you not to introduce yourself. Show me respect, homie. I would have treated you better.
I'm sure we could have that. Where are they teaching these kids today conversation? But yeah.
Yeah, throwing our fists in the air like the open. I mean, me, it looks worse because I have the white hair. It's like, all right, so you work and you romanticize this thing. So what was those first, few jobs like for you stepping in?
Well, what I did initially is I was interning at Marvel Knights. I sort of worked my way into that position. I mean, I wanted to write. That was it. That was my whole thing. So I didn't really know much about what making comics was. Okay. I didn't bother to try and learn all that stuff. I was just like, I'm going to do this.
I'm a writer.
I mean, well, sometimes that serves me very well. Other times, it's like running into a plate glass window. Like you're going and you can't see what you're going to run into.
Oops.
But yeah, so I mean, it was interesting. I was like getting Ranch 1 for Joe Quesada and his wife, getting people lunch, making photocopies, and I might have been one of the last people to take a Marvel comic to the Comics Code Authority office.
What, really?
Yeah.
Wait, they had an actual office?
Yeah, yes.
Get out of here.
It was weird.
Was the door the whole stamp?
No, it was. You wouldn't have noticed it. Like buildings in Manhattan, it's just like a building. You go on one floor. There's a glass partitioned window, and there's that woman from Monsters Inc. Hand me the paper. I'll hand you back the paper. Have a good day, Wazowski. So that was really it. Like you couldn't. There's no magic happening there. So I'm like, there's no magic.
But you're handing them a book.
You hand them like blue lines, which were the pre-press.
Did you get that back, or do they actually retain that?
No, they mark it up and they send it back.
Oh, okay. So they don't retain anything. Because I was about to say these people have the biggest hustle to have the largest comic book collection ever.
No, it's not even comic. It's just basically like the blue line. It's all blue print.
Okay.
It's just loose paper put together, so it's not a finished book.
So that's all they need to see to approve. At least then.
Yeah, because I mean that is the comic. It's just not
Okay.
the 4-color printed and bound comic. So
What if you wind up, doing the color comic and you drew the middle area, too skinny? I mean, oops.
I mean, things have happened. Obviously, there's been instances where words have shown up in comics that weren't supposed to be there. But
Oh yeah,
most
which
things
I've always
that's true.
enjoyed because I almost take sometimes when I read, I almost start taking an editor approach to see how many errors can I spot in this comic book.
No, because I mean, if they have to be pretty obvious. What I do notice is like websites where like prestigious websites, and I'm like, who spell checks this or who does the grammar on this? If I'm noticing it, it's bad because my grammar is horrible.
Oh, mine's horrible too. And I really do try my best. I need extra eyes team too to double check. But yeah, sometimes I find it. The only guy I do not fix is Johnny because he is from the UK, so he writes in old English, if you will. So American English says it's an error, but it's not really.
Right.
So I give him the benefit of the doubt. I said, all right, I'll let you write like you, so that we could sound like Simon Cowell when we read your reviews.
You want to use a U in color? Go ahead. I don't care.
Oh man! All right, so so you start smashing it though. So you start having these successes though, right? Because you say actually you wasn't romanticized, but you start moving along a lot of publishers.
Well, it was I can't work in an office, and I'm not an office person. I don't I worked, as I said, in restaurants, and the thing that is always, hey Dwight, how's it going?
Dwight's the man, yo. Dwight's the man, yo. I call him and his lady the Jay-Z and Beyonce of independent comics, yo, because they're a power couple smashing.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, aren't they?
Yep. What was it? Oh, so this is the thing that gets me about corporate culture and stuff like that, because I came up in the service industry and doing blue collar stuff. And when you're working in a restaurant,
you
if you screw up, everybody knows it's you. Like you can't turn around and blame anyone else or say you didn't get the hamburgers in time or the shipment didn't come. Like it's you. Like you burnt something or you sent something out raw or whatever. It's you. So I grew up in a very hostile environment where it was competitive all the time. One of the things I used to love is we'd get graduates from the Culinary Institute of America, and I would just be frothing at the mouth to crush them because we spent all that money on that education. So I'm like, all right, here we go, 700 dinners. Bring the 700 plates off the line and just watch them fry. And I was terrible in my 20s. So just
oh my god, it's
person.
yo, what's the guy from The Chef that's horrible too?
I would have been on that show for sure. Okay, I'll ask for medium rare. I love that guy. But I mean, who's a better entrepreneur than him? How many TV shows does that guy have?
Yeah, he's smashing.
He makes TV shows on vacation with his friends. That's a racket. He's got it down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even. I should look up what his net worth is, but it's probably astronomical.
All we gotta do is come on. Let's get comic crew. Let's get Jimmy together, and we start help. Get the great restaurants going. Comic book themes and all that good stuff.
That's it.
Like I eat monsters. And every hero is named after a monster.
And every meal that comes out, that's been a lot of fun doing those covers. But yeah, so I mean, Jimmy brought me in, and
when did you meet Jimmy? What's the origin story of that bromance? Because I've seen that you've worked with Jimmy extensively. So it's what's the story of that bromance right there? How'd you meet Jim?
I met Jimmy through Joe because I was talking to Joe online, and they invited me to meet them in the city one night. We went to some
Is this the times they were doing Ash and all that stuff?
This was right when they were taking over Marvel Knights.
They had
just taken over. They were lining up. Kevin Smith was working on stuff. Priest was working on stuff. Paul
Crazy.
Jenkins.
What an era.
Yeah, all that stuff was going on. And that was right at the point in which I sort of fell into that thing. And I don't know, Jimmy and I got along really well. I met Amanda at that point in time.
And Amanda at the time was just a friend, right? Not even his lady, right? At that time?
No, she was his girlfriend at the time.
Oh, she was his girlfriend? Okay.
I think so.
Jimmy been pimping for a minute. Gotcha. Hey.
No, that's a true love story for sure. I mean,
they're awesome. I see them, man. Again, I call Dwight and Elle the Jay-Z and Beyonce of indie. I mean, right now, Jimmy and Amanda are comic book royalty amongst, the big two premier.
Yeah, they do. They do find themselves doing a lot of fun stuff for sure. Yeah, so I mean, I was up at Marvel Nights working with them, and I was talking to Jimmy a lot and bouncing a bunch of ideas off him, and eventually I just I couldn't deal with the office thing, and I was making mistakes because I had never done anything before, so I didn't know all the ins and outs. It was very everything was just like in front of me, and I had to like scramble to try and do things.
So there was no guidance kind of. There was no guidance for you, or they expected you to kind of figure it out.
It's New York. You got to figure it out, or
fake it till you make it, baby.
Yeah, so that combined with the fact, I mean, all I wanted to do was write, and I would go in and pitch the editors, and they would humor me, but they had never had any intentions of giving me a gig or anything. I have a fun story. I was on a panel with Paul Jenkins, and I told a Paul Jenkins story in front of Paul Jenkins, and he was like, "I had no idea that happened," and I was like, I don't care. Like, I've learned not to let those things get to you because it just happens.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody did something maliciously, believe me, I checked that in the back of my head, and I got that all worked out. It'll get taken care of in time. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna risk other things to worry about someone else's issue that I have with them or whatever. But for the most part, I just let it all go, because what am I gonna do? Otherwise, you get like, you think the whole world's against you, or you start playing the victim on everything, and it just doesn't work out. So you got to realize that bad stuff's going to happen, and things are unfair all the time. I always tell my daughter, I'm like, life's not fair. It's just not meant, it's never going to be fair. You're just going to try and figure out the best ways to navigate it and everything else.
You're going to have your moments where everything seems like, wow, I'm unstoppable. And then you're going to have those roadblocks all of a sudden.
Like, you're like drowning.
Oh, smack. What the hell am I doing? I've been there. I mean, look, Justin, I don't know how much older you are than I, or younger rather, but I've been through it. So yeah, I've been on that road. I know what it is. Like, to be high, boom.
And this industry is still small. So, I mean, like, if you don't know the person, you know of the person, and someone else knows the person, and it's just kind of like,
it's like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but with every creator.
Exactly. Yeah. Eventually, if you're a bad guy, it's going to come out. Maybe it takes a little longer than it should, but that's how it goes. So I try and realize that nobody's going to hand me anything. And
there
so I'll take my
But you've been working, and it shows, because I mean, even in 2019, you were part of an Eisner nominated and Ringo award-winning Where We Live anthology. Yeah. I mean, you've been doing things.
J.H. Williams reached out to me about that, and I told a true story in that thing because.
You did?
Yeah, I used to work for a victims assistance program, not for profit, and we
salute to you. I was just sharing some mental health stuff this morning for people, called the prevention line. There's so many things going on in the world. There's so many people need to talk, and they're so repressed. Like, don't keep yourselves in, folks. Talk, please.
Definitely. Look, the help is out there.
It is.
You can be brave enough to just ask for some. There's someone out there that will give it to you and not make you feel like you're a lesser person for asking, because there's no reason not to ask, because there's someone out there that will help you and doesn't want anything other than to help you. There's a lot of people who say they want to help you and don't, but you just got to work your way through that stuff. And I mean, I worked for, I had to deal with victims of crime, whether it was like I got mugged on the street or much harder things to talk about. And
I can't imagine, bro. So my wife watches 911, and sometimes when I know it's a show, but you hear the calls they take. I'm like, I can't do this job. I'll be stressed, son. Yeah, I care too much, yo. I wear my heart on my sleeve, to be honest, and I'll be crying every day after work. Oh shit, bro.
Oh yeah, I had to leave the job. We were doing like a 3-week seminar on rape, and I got like 3 days into that, and I was just like,
oh my god, I cannot, especially as a girl daddy. Woo!
You gotta watch these videos. You gotta watch. There's a training video where a girl with Down syndrome was raped by a football team, and I was like, and I'm like, I can't.
I would want to go through the screen and tear the heads off myself.
Yeah, it was.
I can't do that.
I mean, this is years ago.
I don't know how people could do that.
But no, that's I mean, it definitely colors your vision of humanity when you are, when you're working in like the worst part of Yonkers, and I mean, Yonkers isn't even Brooklyn, right? So
it's not. That's what's crazy. Whoa.
Steroids, Yonkers on steroids. But yeah, it makes great stories. It makes it easier for me to write certain things and like pull up, because that's how I write. I draw on emotion. I would say it's like the Cominsky method, where I'm trying to draw on my own experiences and then sort of apply them to a situation with the characters.
And that's why we connect with your writing, because you're bringing your heart into it. Fantastic. So I want to start talking about this dope project here, because you got, Bleeding Pope comics, right? You got I Eat Monsters.
Yeah, I Eat Monsters is a feature story in that.
Which is fire, and even the backup feature, I'm hooked. So we're gonna be talking all about that, because folks, let me show you this awesome trailer, and then I'm also gonna start popping up the Kickstarter, because we need to make it rain on Gray's Parade here for real, on all that money that he need to make this happen. So check out I Eat Monsters 2 trailer. My God, did you see that? Yo, I'm here sweating like, oh my God, that looks gorgeous. It's great. I love this character introducing number one. You got some sicknesses going on here, folks. Yeah, this is a Kickstarter. I'm gonna keep sharing that right there, and I'm also gonna bring up, but boom, folks, look at that sexy Bleeding Pope Kickstarter. I mean, homie, with 15 days to go, we're seeking 10 racks. He has 16.
Yep.
Woo!
Thank you to all the backers.
Amazing. You got 477 backers. I think that's the most I've seen since McFarlane spun stuff on a project. Like, yo, you are murdering it. So
we're on our way. There's definitely some people who are doing better. Some people we know, some people I've known forever. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with, moving this thing forward. And the thing about it is that the more we can raise, the more I can do on 3 and 4, and
please, yes.
Half of 3 is already done. I can go out and it gives me more leverage with what kind of covers I can do, with what with what kind of stories I can tell. So I'm just keep moving it forward.
Talk to me, brother. For those that are not in the know, what is your synopsis or elevator pitch for Bleeding Pope Comics?
It is, throwback comics. I was doing Spicy Pulp, which is more sci-fi.
Oh, I saw that too. Hey, I'll probably get in trouble for that one though.
It's not as bad as you would, as implied. But so I was doing Spicy Pulp, and I wanted to do a creature feature monster mashup pulp book, because they're fun. I mean, all through the leading into the pandemic, during the pandemic, I was just working on stuff, and I wanted it to be fun. I wanted people to escape reality, and
thank you.
Largely what these books do is they,
goal achieved.
Sometimes they're fun just to be fun. Sometimes they're, more dramatic. But like you saw with the trailer, I had no intention of making the trailer that way. It just came to me as I was in there. All of a sudden, it's funny that the monsters were delicious, and she has that look on her face, and I was like, all right, well.
Oh yeah, well, talk about a look of satisfaction that most men haven't seen from a lady in many years. Right?
So the idea is that one night, she's got 4 other brothers. and they're all fighting with each other and being brotherly, and she wishes she had a sister, and one of the brothers really messes up the other one, so the parents have to take him to get stitches.
Yeah, it reminds me of my brothers and I.
Right, so just a bunch of boys and one sister like stuck with these guys, and of course the sister by proxy becomes a lot stronger than she normally would because she's got to deal with all these boys all the time, and
she checks them all.
Right, so she has to get left to watch to watch the other three brothers while the fourth one goes into the hospital, and while she's watching them, this monster comes out from underneath the bed and just starts savagely killing her brothers. And she tries to fight the monster, but she doesn't have any weapons. She doesn't have anything. She just has her teeth. So she bites the monster, and then she realizes that there's something about eating a monster that suddenly changes her. So it gives her more strength, more courage, and
it tastes like kisses.
So she's driven to try and kill this thing. She's enraged that she's had to watch her brothers get killed, and of course the monster escapes, and she gets blamed for it because she's the only one there that's unscathed except for
who's gonna believe that? Hey, there was this thing in here, and it just murdered all of them. And I tried to save them. I even bit one, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, they're just like so she gets as the story goes on, she will it's tough. She gets psychological problems. She gets thrown in foster homes and juvenile detention centers, and we sort of follow this thing of why this happened because it makes no sense to her. And she spends a period of time looking for these things, but never finds any of them. And in issue 2, she runs into this masked man that proves to her once and for all that the monsters are real by showing her one.
Wow.
And by showing her one, it summons more because it's a baby. And so while she's munching on the baby,
man, she's just messed up.
That's the thing too.
You ain't my child.
That's it. I wanted to have a sense of we become what we eat. There's a point in which she is dealing with: am I becoming a monster? Am I losing my humanity because of what has happened? Not only to me emotionally, and physically, but
I don't eat sushi, bro. So there ain't no way I'm biting raw into a monster and like chewing, gracefully.
Well, that's the beauty of comics.
You know what I mean? I would literally gag and die.
Yeah.
And great design, character design too. Let me tell you. Look at this. And what does the word though, bleeding pulp, mean to you?
I wanted it to be, to get across the two things. One, it was going to be horror. It was going to be gory. It was going to be monsters and scary stuff. But it was also going to be pulpy in a pulp fiction kind of way where it doesn't necessarily, we're not going to sit here and break down the laws of physics. And again, eating a monster raw doesn't give you superpowers in the real world. I get it. But for the purposes of just escapist fantasy fun and
was this? Wait a minute. I got to stop you there though, because we haven't had a monster show up on this scale. Whether or not it could give us powers is only speculation. We don't know that.
Well, you can.
So we can't say no, and we can't say yes.
Right.
Allegedly, it won't give you powers.
Right. until I try one, because I do eat sushi. So I'm.
Hey, can I bite your ass, monster? just give me 1 minute. Let me see if this works.
Well, I also like the idea that monsters try and eat you, so it'd be funny if you try to eat them back. So.
Yo, bro, I always think about that with zombies. What if I bit you? Although I'm not into raw meat like that, right. So the world is not for me. I will die.
Well, that's how we hit on some of the covers too. I wanted to do like.
Look at that. That's gross, bro. I mean, what are they eating? An alligator from Florida? Are they eating Killer Croc?
Oh, he'd be in trouble. He'd be in trouble for sure.
Killer Croc is so dead.
And tasty.
Oh, man. It tastes like chicken. I want to understand.
Sewer chicken.
I mean, look at that face. Killer Croc would go running when he would see that face. So explain to me the protagonist, though. I mean.
Annabelle is an interesting character. She's dealing with all this psychological trauma of not being able to save her brothers. So she's been kind of self-destructive for the past 17 years after the incident.
So how old was she during the incident?
She's about 9.
So this is 17 years the latter. She's in her late 20s now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's in her 20s. She's in Thailand. She's just doing crazy stuff, like entering eating contests where they're illegal eating contests where they would eat poisonous things and for money and see who survives. And
nah, I'm good.
she's trying to get that feeling back and trying to
Justin, is that experience? Because I know you've traveled the world. I mean, did you go to food eating contests like this or something?
No, I mean, I've eaten things that I probably shouldn't have eaten. But...
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
No, mommy, I swear I didn't eat that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I wanted to do something that was different. So she's also from Alabama, and she has a different attitude about the world. She has a different cadence, and there's just a lot of fun stuff that goes on with that. And fighting monsters is always fun.
And what about building the team behind this? Because look at this beautiful art. Love seeing those thick black lines in comics, because that's what makes it feel like a comic. Like I'm viewing something very special, specifically towards comics. I mean, look at this, just 3 panels right here. This gold Mecca. Then you see this beautiful city that reminds me so much of Times Square. You're making me miss it. Mm-hmm. And then we got 2 ladies kicking each other's ass. What's popping?
We have Royce Oliera and Thiago Brandao, or Thiago. I don't know if I say his name properly.
Thiago. Hey, yeah. You sound Spanish. Thiago.
Thiago. They're from Brazil, both of them. And I have a great relationship with those guys. Like, we talk all the time. And
How you met?
How
you met?
How did I meet? I saw Rui's artwork. He was doing something for Felipe Cagno.
I know Felipe.
Kickstarter. Yeah. So he was doing, I think it was a postal, Felipe's Western series. There was a postal carrier storyline, and I saw Roy's artwork. So I sent him an email, and I was like, what are you doing? And at the time, he was working on a Brazilian Netflix show called Super Drag. And he said he had a buddy he would like to have color his stuff.
Okay.
So, I got together with those guys, and we did the last 2 issues of Spicy Pulp. We did Spicy Pulp 5 and 6, Lady Redbeard story together. Hey. And we get along really well. Like I said, like, we talk about stuff all the time that's not even comics related. Like, we know about each other's families, and I check in on each other all the time.
Yeah, boys, that's the rap. That's the rap right there. Yeah, family.
But I like to be able to, the artists I work with, I like to, if we can establish a relationship, then that's a very important component of creative life, because
I think so.
Yeah, everyone, everyone's different. Everyone's got stuff going on in their lives, and like I tell everyone I work with, like, family comes first, because stuff happens all the time, and they're like, I'm sorry this happened. I'm like, you don't have to apologize to me. Just tell me, and we'll, you take care of what you have to take care of, and then we'll get back to this comics thing, when everyone's okay.
Yes.
But so they did the artwork for the last 2 Lady Redbeard chapters, last Lady Redbeard story. And we were talking about doing a project together, and I rediscovered this project as I was going through old emails.
He said rediscovered. What do you mean? Yeah. So this was an old thought brought back?
Yeah, this was I wrote down a log line. I don't know. I don't even know how long ago. Maybe at least 6-7 years ago.
What?
And I looked at it, and it was I Eat Monsters, but it was more like I was doing like an adult version of Ghostbusters. And I was reading it, and I'm like, there was this Ghostbusters, whatever. And then all of a sudden it occurred to me, like, wait, all of a sudden I thought about this character of Annabelle and taking the story in a completely different direction, but keeping the basic premise of eating monsters as a means of what makes the character unique.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, I got this. And I sat down and I wrote like 48 pages of script, like in one go.
What?
And I was like,
in one go, bro, you were inspired, son.
Because I don't write scripts the way I used to write them. I don't write them all like super detailed like you would for like I would for DC. Okay. So I was like, this happens and that happens, you give them the script, and I'm like like this page is this page, and I started doing that Stan Lee, Jack Kirby thing where it was kind of just saying, here, go run with this.
Did you film videos too, acting it out from the sofa, and you taking a dive? This is how I need to look.
Yeah, but I will research stuff that I want to do, and I'll look for camera angles, and I sometimes will do my stick figure versions of things.
I love it.
Yeah, I did a stick figure version cover of Standstill 6, which I'm still proud of because Branko got it right away. He was like, "Oh, I know what you're doing here," and I was like,
nice.
and then he drew it, and I was like, "It's exactly what I wanted to do, but couldn't do." You know, I got my little stick figure doing his thing. And
so when are we gonna get the Tustin Gray stick figure action book?
I should do that. Here are my preliminary thumbnail sketches of what this book's going to be about.
Bro, why not, bro? All in all in stick figure action. Hell yeah, bro.
But it depends. Everyone's different. And there's like a growing period with people when you're dealing with artists, and you want to find their strengths and weaknesses. Because I learned a lot. I probably learned more from working on Jonah Hex for DC Comics than I did from any other thing I did in comics, because every artist was different.
Okay.
So we'd be writing stuff either specifically for that artist or writing stuff in conjunction with.
Wow. How do you write specifically for an artist? I mean, what are you looking at when you say you write specifically for an artist? That's interesting.
All right. So the first ever Jonah Hex thing that Jimmy and I did with Darwin Cook, I wanted to bust his balls. So it was going to be snowing. Because it's Canada. And of course, he's like, it doesn't always snow in Canada. Like, yes, it does. Don't lie to me. It always snows
in the north.
That's it. And then I wanted to do, because of Darwin's different styles, I wanted to do one of those old-timey, like 1950s boys magazines in the wilderness type stories.
Yeah.
And, have it have that kind of feel, like, lost in a snowstorm. What will little Davy do? Except it's Jonah Hex and
little Davy's gonna freeze his ass off. That's
exactly. Yeah, it's gonna die. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a very short story, and he's gonna be a popsicle at the end.
Page 1, he's walking. Page 2, he asks for mommy. Page 3, he's dead. 3-page story by
Wolves are eating his frozen meat. Yeah, so that kind of thing. Like you, and for instance, like with J.H. Williams III. You don't really give. He's going to do things in that script, like with Amanda Connor will do things to a script that you never even imagined would happen on the page.
She adds the elaboration of what you've already elaborated.
She adds things. There's artists like Eduardo Risso. If you look at his 100 Bullet stuff, he always has stuff going on in the background.
Bullets is so good, so good.
So then that's what you think. You're like, okay, we're going to do an Eduardo Risso comic. So it has to have something interesting for him to do in the background, regardless of what's happening on, in the front of the stage, if you want to use a lack of a better term. So that's what I do. And I really stopped writing the kinds of dense scripts that were like everything was broken down and, and started using less panels and letting the artists do more. Unless, of course, there's some artists that want you in there with them and giving them direction, and you just have to find out.
How frequent is that, though, in your journey, within finding an artist that could be more self-directed versus someone that says, okay, I really need you to direct me? I
think it varies. It really does. I mean, like when I worked with Jordi Bernet, another person, you let Jordi do Jordi. The man's a legend. And it's not like you're going to get back something that's not in the script, which has happened. I mean, I've definitely gotten artwork back on projects and been like, you read the script, right?
What page is this?
Like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And because that used to make me crazy, having to go back in and rework off the artwork. But now I really like it because I could do so many more things with it to make it more organic.
Because it adds value sometimes when they do their input on their vision artistically of the story, even with no words, right? It's oh shit, I never thought of that, and let me add this scene, if you will.
Or sometimes you're like, wow, I really overwrote that, and the artist did all this. I can just pull back, dig out a lot of this lettering, and just say, let the image speak for itself and really try and find the highest impact point. And because that's really just, especially with, there's some projects I can just write and I'm like, okay, this is going to be fine. There'll be some minor tweaking to it. There's stuff to it. And then there's stuff like I agonize over for months and months and rewrite all the way up to the artwork stage, just trying to get it so that everything, it's a seamless experience for whoever is reading it. Like there is no man behind the curtain. It's just all there.
I want to ask about this image because wow, what an amazing looking image. Not just because she's in her drawers, folks. Don't be sick-minded, people. But I mean, this is an amazing image. Who did this?
Bizarre. It's Marco Turini.
Whoa! I mean, it's dope.
He does some Star Wars covers, and I don't know. I just said cowboy boots, cowboy hat. You can make her sexy. You can. I'm not afraid of nudity. I don't care. Just like do your thing.
Wow, bro. I think you just found my new fetish. I want to see my lady in cowboy hat and cowboy boots and just lingerie. This would be amazing. And since I'm a Taurus, I'll be her boo. Hey! TMI, folks. I know. I'm sorry. But this is beautiful art. Well done, bro.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you got this?
Hmm?
How did you feel when you saw this for the first time? Because I'm
like,
in awe. It's gorgeous art, though.
I was like, it's beautiful and it's so strange, and the wallpaper and the monster and the oven, and I was like, it's just so.
That's what gets me too. Out of everything there, this is his oven there with a stovetop that has some weird shit on it. Like, what in the hell?
I know it feels very European too, in a sense. So,
oof! Oh my god! Then look at these pages. Wordless right now because we're not gonna be blessed to read the greatness of Gray right now in these pages. But look how gorgeous these pages are. Look how sick she is. I mean, she's ripping heads off and just taking bites. Like, damn, mama. Holy I mean, you need a man that could feed you. What happened?
It's definitely a funny line after that scene that you see there.
And then this,
right.
I love H.P. Lovecraft. And when you did this story that features him as a fucking protagonist, kind of, I'm like, Justin, are we long lost brothers? I mean, look at our shades. You're a little darker than me, so maybe we are. Yo, talk to me about who is Madame Beldam? What's going on? Why H.P. Lovecraft? I mean, bro, you fucking hooked me like a fish on issue 1.
I have this character called the Road Witch, and she first premiered in Spicy Pulp. Okay. And she's over 300 years old. She's cursed by a witch. She lives in her head. It's kind of a firestorm, supernatural combination.
Wow, I love it. I'm a big Firestorm fan, so thank you for. Hey, bro, you see my podcast apparently.
So initially, she's in the puritanical times, and she's as it's set again. I like to do these period pieces, and that's why I created this character, because I wanted to visit different time periods with this character.
Okay.
And so she starts out before America's even America. They're burning witches and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you definitely elaborated on that and reasons too. Holy shit! Like, okay.
Yeah. So, and there's a running gag with the character too, where she's always showing up naked because you can summon her at any point, so she's not always dressed when she has to heed the call. Man. So she's
being in the bush.
So she's a supernatural character possessed by a witch, but the two of them are always at odds with each other at different points in time. And I wanted to do a period piece with H.P. Lovecraft in the 30s, and I wanted to show that like legacy characters, like she has a different name when she's in the 30s, so she's more of like a spiritualist or something that falls in line with that timeline. So instead of like the Road Witch, she's Madame Beldam, the mystic arts and all that stuff. And so H.P. Lovecraft summons her to try and help him rescue a friend from this island that supposedly has been taken over by a cult. And together they have some funny banter, and H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, he's so snarky. The way you wrote him, he's like, I do this for a living, all right? I mean, what do you mean? I'm a real witch. Who the fuck? What are you talking about? What magic you ever done?
And she has like that attitude that like sort of, wearing pants, and, in the 30s, it was, pretty radical about how, certain women were behaving. And,
oh my God, a woman is wearing pants. How dare she? I mean,
crazy.
Listen, guys, let me put you on apparently we should be wearing skirts so that way we can let our stuff hang free and maybe gravity can help most of you. I'm just saying, yo, look it up. I ain't lying. They saying that we got that wrong. All right, but whatever.
Yep. I love that story. I'm gonna put that in there somewhere.
Somewhere. This is how you get your schlong big. You just gotta wear a skirt.
So here's the other thing too about this book is that it's
the
first issue is 56. This issue is 60 pages.
And 60. You added 4 more pages, you dirty boy. You look at you.
Well, what I added was a preview of the next backup story because I was going to say Madame Beldam starts in issue 1, ends in issue 2. It's a complete story. And then issue 3 has a new backup story called the Blue Geisha. And that carries over. While we keep doing I Eat Monsters, there'll be the backup story.
Bro, you got me so hooked on this whole shit. Wepa! Yeah, listen, bro. It's like, are you part Puerto Rican? Look at those naughty guys. Wepa! Jesus. Fantastic. This is definitely upper Puerto Rican alley. I'll tell you that much.
Portuguese artists too help.
Hey, a lot of bunda. Hey, I know. Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
hey, look at that.
The art on that cover is Antonio Brandão, who I've worked with many times. He's a great guy, and he's out of Portugal. And
but yeah, look at these smocks, yo. This is what you need when you start cooking some burgers. You know, is it a burger or is it a monster?
Yeah, or is it a monster?
I will terrorize my nieces and nephews if I was able to get this smock and cook. You know what? You're eating pieces of Godzilla right now. Oh, and look at these monsters. I mean, not for nothing, bro, but the design of that middle one. Not that I'm afraid of spiders, but I'm not a fan of them. Right. Holy shit, did you fucking create a scary ass looking spider monster?
Those are all Roy's character designs.
So Luis did the design. So you wrote the story, and Luis said, "Let me give you this sick shit here." And
give me a monster. You know, like
bro. And this yellow one, is that still his umbilical cord? What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know what that is,
bro.
I think it's an umbilical cord.
Oh my god, this looks crazy. And look at it, Spicy Pope, Lady Redbeard doing. Oh, look at that though. You know, Dude Bro, the Barbarian. Hey, I'll slice you in half, son.
Yeah, that's a funny story. I love that character.
Okay, wait. I need you to explain. Explain, Justin. Explain. Who is Dude Bro, the Barbarian? Hey, why do I feel like doing this every time?
Savage Sword, Conan's. So I was like, I want to do a Conan homage, but I don't want it to be Conan. I don't want to try and make my own Conan. But what I did is I took Conan, Fred Flintstone, and the Warlord.
Oh shit! No, you didn't.
Just kind of mashed them all together and put them in a romantic comedy set in Hyperborea or whatever you want to call it. So he's like totally like clueless in his perception of, you know, I saved the maiden. The maiden gives me sex. Life is good. And the maiden's like, no, that's not how that works. And he's like, of course it does. It works that way every time. And so he spends the entire storyline trying to get with her because he thinks he's earned it. But, you know, he kills a 2-headed ogre. He's fighting wizards, which he hates. He thinks wizards are old perverts in robes. And, and you know, they all have sex cults. And he thinks she has terrible taste in men. And so they keep arguing the whole time.
There's an opinion about men's in robes, too. So, you know, hey, and they may not mention which ones. Hey. And look at this too. What is this bonus comic? Wrestling with Demons, random 25 bonus. What is this? What are you talking about?
Well, if we hit a certain level of pledges, you know, a certain amount, then I'll slide in randomly into backers. You know, 25 different backers will get a copy of this this new edition of Wrestling with Demons that Jimmy and Palmiotti and I did.
What? Yeah. Ooh, hey guys, you hear this, guys and ladies? If you're fans, I think you need to jump on this. Like, we're gonna get into the tiers in a minute. But
yeah, I've never done that before. I was looking at trying to do different stuff.
Thank you for doing that. People love that. I mean, the more different you can be and offering, you know, fun stuff to add to our shelf porn, if you will. Mm-hmm. You know, you're basically Justin Gray, our pornographer of shelves.
All right.
And you're making us build sexy shelves, you know, self porn all the way. This is what we want. So check it out, folks. You know, you got free rewards on top of it. But, you know, if you pass milestones from 10, they pass. 12, they passed. 15 passed. I mean, look at all this, yo. Oh my God. Fractured Shades and Enmity Sisterhood, Warlash. I mean, just add it. What? Pregnant Bitches of War. What? And yo, bro.
It's a great comic.
What in the hell is this?
He's actually running a Kickstarter right now. His Fried Comics is running a Kickstarter for.
I love it. You know what? I don't blame her for not shaving her legs, man. You got to get the business done, son. I've been there. I've seen it myself as a man. And salute to all you ladies. Yeah. For real, I can't do that. I don't know, Justin. Can you think you can give birth through your areas?
I also have witnessed it, and
he said no, right, bro.
No.
Oh, listen, okay, let me terrorize you. I'm gonna take off my hat for this one, but this is all I remember.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my God, how can I satisfy this afterwards? I'm an asshole, folks. Yes. I mean, but look at this. I mean, if you hit 27, if you hit 30, we got more. With so many days to go, 35, 40. I mean, 45. You got plans, yo.
I'm just swinging for the fences. Yeah, and I forgot. I should have mentioned that Miljenko is the artist, and Alessia Nocera is the colorist for Madame Madame.
Oh my God! But there's something here for 90s fans. You got free metal trading cards with art by Marco Turini. Wepa. What? And look at this. You got Rui Silveira, Thiago Brando, Miljenko Simic, Alessia Nocera, Branko Javonovic, Antonio Brandao, and Marco Turini. And I hope I said those right, because let me tell you, I am a name butcher, but I feel confident. I feel confident today. All right. Everything's printed in the US. Hey, all right. Talk to me about that choice, because I see, at least in the world of independent, a lot of creators having some trouble finding the very right printing press, especially within the States, because, you know, we got all those boat issues still in the backlog. How did you find them? And you know, and did you purposely choose them in the USA just so we could make sure we get these books on time?
There's a couple reasons. I mean, I wanted to use, you know, it's tough because I understand, and I'm not going to disparage anybody. You do whatever you want to do. I mean, it's not. But for me, I didn't want to outsource to China, even though there's a huge difference in cost.
It's cost effective, but you know, you're taking jobs away from, you know, our very same people.
Right, and I don't particularly agree with a lot of the human rights issues.
Yeah, brother, you and me both. No, you and me both. I get that, because if I do something, it would be American made, for sure. Because we need to support home. I mean, I hate the fact that a lot of, you know, not for nothing, you know, they step out for a moment, but let's support home. Let's support companies at home. Let's support creators from home. Because we need this. It helps our economy, guys. That's all at the end of the day. I'm not saying it for any other reason than that. Let's, you know, support what we have here. We have great people and great companies here that could give us this very same product at the same cost. We don't need to go, you know, other places.
Yeah. So I use different printers for different things. And yeah, the boat waiting thing is kind of difficult right now.
It is. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know if that's Rob Liefeld's excuse, but I've been waiting 10 years for Brigade #1. So, you know.
Well, I can't speak to that, but I do know that it takes a long time for certain things to get through, especially with the shortages and the COVIDs, and then China's on lockdown. And
again, yeah.
You know, it's just a choice where I say, you know, these books cost more. For those reasons, because I can get them done here. I can use printers in the States, and you know, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, so support America, kiddos, because let's check it out. I want you to start spending money. All right.
Well, I also want to say that since we have the icon there, that Inked Marketing has been helping me set up interviews and get the
Really?
word out.
Oh, I know. That's Big Kevin right there, yo. So salute, yo. Thank you, Justin.
I would be
Kevin,
remiss not to say that
Kevin,
marketing,
Kevin G, you are a boss. God bless you, man. Keep doing what you do to support independent creators like Justin, because right now we're about to get some money for Justin. All right, so check it out. If you're a kind person with $10 to spare, go ahead and just say, I love comics, and throw a 10. But now, when you want to start getting,
it used to be $1 too. I don't know. Somehow I don't set that price. That's just what Kickstarter puts out there. But I remember it used to be $1.
Well, hey, but I mean, look at gas prices nowadays.
It just cost me $70 to fill up my tank.
Bro, what?
Cheapest gas. On the cheapest gas.
$70. Please, I mean, I wouldn't even get a quarter of a tank for 20. For 20, son. Back in the day, I used to get half a tank on my joint for 20. At least 3/4 sometimes. Shit, right now, not even half. No, you understand me? World, let's get better. This is ridiculous. All right. Anyway, those are ridiculous prices, but guess what? This is it. Because right now we're gonna get some dope comics. Right here, Bleeding Pulp, #2, Virtual Feast. So we get that PDF.
Issue 1, 2, if you want.
What? 1 and 2?
Yeah, 1 and 2 are both
$6 for 2 comics on digital. I mean, I go ahead and go to a digital platform right now. I bet you spend more.
Well, it's $6 for each one, but yes.
Oh, you know what though?
They're almost 60 pages.
But that's the whole point though.
But the digital ones have more because I put a bunch of fun stuff in them.
Go find me a comic book that many pages for $6. You can't, because they're going to be minimum $9.99. We're talking $6 here. And you're getting 120 pages because you're getting 2 books. So holy shit. I mean, this is the bargain. This is a bargain, guys. All right. So now then you also got the combo platter right there for 12 beans. There for 20. We got the Branco main cover. So when you say that means we're getting this is not a floppy. So we're getting 20 pages of story, 12 pages of ads and recaps, 56.
No, that's what I'm saying is, like, if you look at the regular floppy, it's about 20 pages story and 12 pages of ads or in-house stuff or recaps. And this is not that. This is
56 pages.
60 pages of content. Most of that is, 99% of that's story.
You hear that? 99, folks.
And there's some pinups in there from some of the so if you like the cover, it's usually in there.
And you want that art, this is why you need to buy 2, so that way you could take some covers out and frame them. I mean, you got the butcher blades, oblades, depending where you're from. All right. We got the spicy pulp digital. Oh, what's this, bro? 2 Lady Red Bitch stories, 1 Royce complete dude, bro. Mecca Monroe strawberry milk. Hey, what's strawberry milk? That sounds like something that Johnny Hughes would love.
Strawberry milk is a character I came up with that I was like, what if you mix strawberry shortcake with Lobo?
Oh shit, really? Oh bro, why have I not heard of strawberry milk before? I love it. And I'm actually a fan of strawberry milk. And I don't know if you are aware. Do you know they have, remember, the mini donuts, the donuts from Hostess?
Okay.
They got strawberry flavored donuts now. And dulce de leche.
I don't know what the dulce.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told that lady. I said, listen, I'm paying now. There's no way I'm going to turn around, because if I taste the one, I'm going to buy the whole inventory. Don't do this to me. Almega that's his weakness, dulce de leche. Stop it. So check it out. We got the Bleeding Pulp #2 Bloody Bake Sale. Ooh, what's that? And why Bloody Bake Sale? That sounds so sick.
Because I wanted to do all these cheesecake covers, like homages to old cheesecake covers dealing with stuff like kitchen and baking and cooking and eating.
Hey,
so it's all
Johnny Hughes. You're gonna tear this up, aren't you? My boy loves cheesecake. You mentioned cheesecake, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, Justin.
So there's if you scroll down where you can see all the covers, there's Antonio Brandao did the cheese, that's a cheesecake. That the beach one's a cheesecake, and then you can still go up a little bit further because there's
even the crab is like, hey baby, I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah, it's an homage to an old French poster. It's actually there's a terrier or something that's supposed to be pulling it off.
Yeah, they're right there. Hold on, let me bring them up. Hey, there we. Ooh.
Nope. There's strawberry milk.
What happened to Lady Redbeard there though? Hey, man. Hey, oh, I had to go. Hey, oh man,
there you go. There's your bloody bake sale. There's your cupcakes, both naughty and aprony.
Oh my god!
And then there's
all I want to know, does it taste like strawberry?
So those are the cheesecake
covers. Don't cancel me, folks. I'm just saying, yo. I'm just a curious person. Then look at that. So you got for number 2, 2, 4, 6 covers, and all that merch. Isn't this a gorgeous project, folks? I mean, just look at this. Why wouldn't you put your money behind something like this? I mean, look at that art. Jesus, I love this cover so much. I love that cover.
Yeah, we blew through all the holofoil covers of it
already.
Yeah, we do like limited runs, or I do limited runs of specialty covers.
But be honest, are you sure that's not Killer Croc right there?
It might be. Copyright purposes, I cannot.
What Batman couldn't do, mommy over here did. Like just because she was hungry, she couldn't find a steak and shake. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what happened. Oh, an In-N-Out. Apparently, one of my boys went in California. He tried it In-N-Out. He said the line was so huge, he just had to take it out. But he waited an hour. He goes, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It was all right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wait that hour.
Yeah, bro. If I go In-N-Out, I'm not gonna be like it's all right. I'm gonna be this is the greatest shit ever, or this is the worst thing ever. There is no in between for me. All right. I'm a White Castle man. They just opened one up in Orlando, Justin. So hopefully one day we could connect and just go through a crave case together if you like.
Just slide right through you.
Well, you ain't lying. That's what they call sliders. Hey! No, but for real, yo, Justin, bro, you're awesome. This project is, we have, again, let me repeat, folks, because this is what it is. We got 15 days to go. We need the 10 racks. He's at 16, 477. Let's get to 500. Let's get a 600 backers on this with that many days to go, because this is amazing. So how many more things can you add on to this, Justin? If we break, like, for example, 25.
Let's see, 25 gets you to the 20. Scroll down, because I think I have like 12 or 14.
Let's go. Additional. For 15, I think that's the last level that you checked off.
Right. So 18, you get the sticker sheet.
Ooh, okay.
20, is it 20 or 23 is the next one? I can't remember.
How do you feel, though? Because you've created over 20 projects, 6 projects that are loved. I mean, and you're kicking ass with this one, obviously. This is one of those that are loved. How do you feel just as a creator?
I feel very lucky that I'm able to connect with, people that really enjoy what I'm doing. And I always say that, it used to be, working for DC, for instance, it was always like, how many copies are we selling? How long is this book going to last? Huh. What kind of reviews is it getting?
Is it selling enough? God, do I have a job next month?
So, with this, it's really just rewarding to be able to have that direct connection with the audience that likes the material, as opposed to, I'm making them happy. So that makes me happy that way. It's not like I constantly feel like there's an axe hanging over my head for these projects. And I went into tons of projects like that. And some of the projects, we were given were just like, oh, I'm like, okay, this is going to be what it's going to be. And so you don't feel as proprietary towards it. Okay. Whereas, I work on these things all the time. It's like, there is no day off with this. There's just a couple of hours off where I'm sleeping, where I'm not thinking about what I could do next, or what you think about the Kickstarter. And this Kickstarter was approved almost 2 months ago. And I sat there and tweaked it and played with it and changed it and really.
So you have a time window from approval to when it goes live?
It used to be, It's changed a lot. There were times when it was like this, and there's times where it's a week or a week and a half. And there's times where I have to say to Kickstarter, I promise you, I'm not going to launch this. I just want to get the landing page up so I can start building, the audience towards it. Because I don't like to, I can't feel good about doubling down on Kickstarters unless I've got the bulk of whatever the last one is out. I don't feel right. I mean, I want to get them going. But
thank you, bro.
It's hard to, and all the factors that are involved in that, printing, timelines, approvals. So trying to navigate through all that, because I do, I did Spicy Pulp and Standstill. Now I'm doing Bleeding Pulp and Standstill. And Standstill is, going to be 11 and 12 issues that are coming out this year. And then I just started the core blocks on this thing called Republic. And it's just kind of like lining these things. So every once in a while I have to go to Kickstarter and say, I promise you, I'm not trying to like double down and run 2 campaigns at the same time. I just want to make sure that I can parlay from, if everybody's getting their rewards and they're excited and they like what they're getting, then I can point them in the direction of what's coming next and hopefully, transition that. And plus I want to get the books to people in a timely fashion so they don't feel like, oh, it's been 8 months, who cares? It's just, there's a window there. People are used to monthly comics, so I'm trying to find some kind of happy medium between doing 60-page color comics with, 12 people on the book. Because I do all that stuff myself. I mean, I find the artists, I develop relationships with them, I pay them, I put the book together, and there's like this whole timeline of me not being creative that goes into making these books happen. So that's why I'm like, the more money we can raise on these Kickstarters, the more power I have over the process of getting the books done, getting people working on them, and getting different covers and all that stuff. So it's a full-time job, whereas I'm just kind of like, okay, I broke even on this one, I broke even on that one, let's just keep going. So at some point, hopefully I can get to numbers where everyone's good, including myself.
Wow. So let me ask you, any of these projects that you've been working on, do you want to see any of these outside of comics on a platform such as, a streaming network, a film? You know what I mean? Shout out to Brian Adam. He goes, "You're awesome, Sauce."
Hey, thank you. How's it going?
Yeah.
I don't really,
Brian Adam. Yeah.
I don't really think about. I've been down that road, and I don't like that road.
Oh, you've done that already.
I've been down that Hollywood Boulevard, and it's very draining, and it's very tumultuous, and you go from being like this high to like down here, and I had to
shit. So really they really try to check you?
No,
is that what you're saying?
No, it's just you have no control. I'm amazed that anything gets done. I am. When something gets done, I know the people behind it wanted it to happen to a point where they did things that it's amazing to me.
You know what that means to me? That Almega is not ready for Hollywood, or rather Hollywood ain't ready for Almega, because you ain't bullshitting me like this. If you telling me we're gonna get something done, guess what? We get them done. I don't fuck around.
I have stories.
Really? Those are another podcast. Comic Crusaders After Dark. One day I'm gonna get Justin drunk, and Justin, can you please share those Hollywood horror stories?
I don't need to drink to share those stories.
Hey, I don't even want to drink to share that. Hey, I'll tell you the truth, son. I love it.
It's tough. I mean, it can drive you nuts. And I mean, I've watched deals go down for reasons way out of my control, where I was just like, why did that have to happen?
So they really try to take ownership over your IP in that sense. Can you share that? Is that what the problem is?
Say that again. Sorry, the dog.
So is the problem where they want to take over the IP and kind of just say this is what it's going to be, as opposed to asking you, can it be this?
No,
that's part of the problem.
That's a thing, that happens. No, I'm talking about like having a done deal and being like at the precipice of, there's a script, there's candidates for actors, there's a director that's already done a sizzle reel, and then somebody goes and does something that has nothing to do with me, and all of a sudden all that just goes away.
What?
Because that person made a mistake that pissed off a chain of people, and that's what happened.
Nah, bro. Let me tell you, Mega don't play. Don't you dare fuck up my op, because I will fly to you and beat your ass.
On the positive side, I will say that Jay Baruchel is fantastic, and he did everything
I know that name. Yeah, yo.
to
Awesome.
make Random Acts of Violence, an actual movie that I have seen. So that's nice when that happens. It's and that book was written it was published in 2010, but it was written before 2010.
It's going to happen then.
No, it came out in 2019. The film came out, so you could see it probably streaming.
What is it called again?
Random Acts of Violence.
It sounds like something on my alley too. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Folks, I swear to God, I'm not a violent person, but I am an 80s kid. So
it's totally an 80s slasher movie.
So yeah, when you give me titles like that, I'm about to eat it up. I would have ate this up in my video store.
Yeah, it's and the soundtrack is fantastic, and Jay did a really amazing job with it. And
how'd you hook up with them to do this?
Well, we had done the book for Kickstart Entertainment, which is not to be confused with Kickstarter.
Okay.
And Jay had the book and wanted to do the adaptation, and he and his writing partner did the adaptation, and eventually they shot the film, and it went through Canada. So Canada does things where they have like an arts program set up through the government where they allot certain amounts of money to do projects. So once all that went through, and Jordana Brewster from Fast and Furious is in there, and Jesse from Grey's Anatomy. I can't remember his last name. I'm sorry,
cool.
Jesse, if you ever see this. And Jay's in it as well as directing and co-writing the screenplay. So it was great. I mean, I thought it was a low budget horror movie, but I think it did, and it's very, very violent. It's interestingly violent in a sense that you're gonna feel a visceral connection to it, as opposed to it being sort of like, it might be too much if you're having a bad week or you watch too much news.
No, not me, man. I stay away from the news. I know what's going on. I get the basics and I turn it off because news is too stressful.
Yeah, I mean, when we were all trapped in our houses, we drive ourselves nuts.
And again, that's part of the problem. We kept listening to the news, and many of us were driven mentally insane. Yeah. And this is why I've shared today, like, please make sure to get mental health help if you need it. Because, I understand it's tough to be locked in, and then you have this constant barrage of bad news. And I don't know what's going on in your lives. Maybe there's bad things going on. There could be good things going on. But, it's like, how do you balance the good with the bad? Especially when you hear about, shootings of children in a school, for example. I mean, how are you supposed to feel?
No, I know.
Oh, we're going to raise the age to buy guns to 21. So wait a minute. You can't buy beer until you're 21, but you could buy a gun at 18. What the fuck is wrong with this country sometimes?
It's definitely something I hope that can be figured out, because it's not working.
No, it's not. Again, you could buy liquor at 21, but you could buy a gun, which is much more dangerous, at 18. Again, please think about that logic. Yeah. Something's off right there, folks. I just want to say, not political, just saying.
No, I get it.
Something's off.
And I don't have a problem with guns. I just think that we need to be smarter about it. So
yeah, we don't need to have M16s and AK-47s at the crib. You know what I mean? A 9mm would do. Just saying. You don't need to, have that type of weaponry. We're not fucking Frank Castle.
Right.
I'm just saying. Or we're not Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, and these are fictional characters, and they do fictional stuff. But yeah, so
exactly. That's what I'm saying. They do fictional stuff, and and in these stories they need what they need, because they're
supposed to be metaphors. They're metaphors for things. They're not meant to be idolized.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just stories, folks, and then, but for real, let's just be safer. Let's be smarter. Let's protect our children and our families. But Justin, you have been nothing short of amazing. As I've said, you are someone that I respect totally in the industry. So Flower Time, thank you.
Thank you. No, thanks for having me.
So much for just writing things that are taking me out of this world. Thank you for entertaining me and just take me out. That's the most important part for me. That you don't have me here. You got me in this wild world with some ladies fighting in MMA fighting, eating monsters. I'm all for it. You taking me to a world where I got H.P. Lovecraft alive and well, talking up to a witch like I know my shit, lady. Like, damn, bro, you ain't magical though. Chill. I love it, and you're having so much fun with it. So you've been an amazing creator, from then to now. So God bless you and everything else you do, bro. Because I am a fan, 100. All the time.
I appreciate that.
Bro, you're the boss, bro. You all know my other big homie, Jimmy P, too. So it's like I think you guys make an amazing bro team because you guys fucking murder every book you guys touch. I mean, it's instant gold. So when it comes to this Bleeding Pulp, this is instant gold, folks. So I'm gonna share that Kickstarter link right there. Please go. Bleeding Pulp.
Get out there, back it. Tell your friends.
Back it. Tell your friends. Tell your mama. Tell your daddy. Tell your titi. Everyone, everyone got to buy this. Tell your brothers to spend some money because this is right up their alley. This is fun. This is great. This is what comics is supposed to be. Justin, any last words of advice for up and coming creators that have been, trying to step into the journey like you did one day?
Just be true to yourself and be, as good a person as you can be, because it's a really small community at the end of the day, and and support the people in the community. I understand, there's areas for being competitive, but there's also areas for lifting each other up and trying to, make, even if it's just a simple thing of like saying, I like this person's book or whatever. It just a small kindness can develop into a big thing and can go a long way for anyone. Like whatever your perception of reality is may differ from someone else's, but being positive is always going to help you as opposed to being negative. And it's easy to be negative. I know we're creative types. We get moody and emotional, trying to stay positive, even though, some days it seems like it's never going to happen, but you keep trying.
Yeah. JV, I love that because it's true. Inner monologue sometimes is your worst enemy. So don't listen to that inner monologue sometimes. Block it out and just be you, folks. And if you want to see what an awesome creator looks like, this is what I need you to do. Go visit Justin's website, the letter J V Gray GRAY.com. All right, stay up to date. But most
it's not EY. A lot of my career has been telling people that it's not EY.
Oh, really? Hey, folks, right there. Check it out. The Kickstarter. Very important. All right. Bleeding Pulp #2. Live now. 15 days ago. Make it happen. Make it rain so we can keep getting all these extras. By the time you get this, you're going to get it like a 20 by 24 by 20 box full of goodies. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. I'm only playing. I'm going to take my word for it, but I'm just saying he got so much good stuff on this project. Wepa. That's what it's up. So again, Justin, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate it.
For chilling with me, talking with me, letting us know the greatness of your journey, the advice, and of course, the amazing book you got out right now. Bleeding Pulp #2. Wepa. And with that, folks, you know what to do. Check out everything Comic Crusaders on undercovercapes.com. You can follow me everywhere on the socials at The Real Al Mega. And with that, hasta la próxima. JV, later, brother. I appreciate you.
All right.
Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.